Now it is.
There it goes. There it goes.
Cooking with gas.
Okay, guys. Welcome. Yeah, gas. Welcome to Talking Jits and Giggles. I have no idea what episode we're up to at the moment, and I will just got to keep saying Talking Jits and Giggles.
Number 20.
Bryan,
this is our 20th.
Are you sure? Because I thought you buggered up the last one.
I did. I said 20 last time, and we've got 99 subscribers. So we're about to break 100.
Oh, nice. Hey, look, guys. First of all, like I normally do, with this, I want to thank a few people. I missed Mavia Fightwear. Now, make sure guys are getting some new gis in, some new rash tops. My guy down here in Christchurch brings them in, and he's really about promoting jiu-jitsu within New Zealand. So maviafightwear.com. We also have, if you want all your tattoos, and as much as I take the piss out of Bryan's feet and toes, it says Jits, burning needles. So make sure that you hit up those guys. Bryan looks like he's just frozen on my screen for some reason.
Oh yeah, just did a little bit.
And who else? We got Open Palm Massage Therapy. Make sure for all your needs.
Oh, hang on.
What the hell?
I don't know what happened there, mate. You're freezing something chronic. Get the kids off Fortnite.
I was about to say that. Hang on, I'll go do it now. You introduce them.
You go do that while I carry on. We've got, where was I? Dan Reveley Building, for your building needs. 03 Clothing Apparel. Neanderthal. They bring in supplements. They're bringing in fight wear stuff from overseas. Rash tops, fight shorts, bits and pieces like that. Allan, who got some sponsors from your side of things, bro? Where you got?
Oh, I think at the minute we're using Respect Fightwear, mainly just through Vaughan.
Yep.
He's the guy who you go to deal with all the advertising and any sponsors and stuff. So
nice.
Mainly Respect Fightwear is who's supplying gis and rashes and stuff at the minute. So we're pretty stoked with them guys.
Oh, cool. Now, most of you might have just clicked that you can hear an accent.
I'm from New Zealand.
And I know we talk about New Zealand Jiu-Jitsu, but Al has been here for a very, very long time. I'm surprised he hasn't got I think he's got a mixture of Kiwi and, what is that? Is that a Pommy accent, mate?
Scottish.
Well, it's
Irish.
Not quite. No, I do live in England, but the far north. So I'm just south of the Scottish border. It's about 30 miles south of Scotland in a huge city called Newcastle. So the accent is a Geordie accent. So it's quite broad. It's quite thick. It's not as bad as it used to be.
It's thick.
Yeah.
Oh, look, welcome to coming on.
Thanks for having me.
We did have Vaughan and that on, so we're not sure when we'll pop this on, but it will be over the next couple of weeks. But look, what we want to do, man, is just hear about your journey in jiu-jitsu, where you started from, how long you've been training for, where you started from, where you're at now, and just all that kind of shit, mate.
Mate, I'll go way, way back before I even come to New Zealand. I used to love watching the old Bruce Lee movies, like Game of Death, The Big Boss, Enter the Dragon, Jackie Chan and Police Story. So I always was mesmerized on all this, the Asian guys being super fit, super strong, and they could break a guy in half. And I must have been about, 10-year-old. My old man got me into it. So I was fascinated at that point. And then I grew out of it and I started to play soccer, football, whatever. Then I got interested with girls, and then I found my wife, and we got married. And then I think I just dwindled away. I started to race motocross. It originated from motocross. I raced motocross. I got injured, put the bike away, sold it, and then I was sitting bored, and we were watching the UFC. This was 99-ish, 98-ish. So it'd been on for a while. In fact, the first fight I watched was Carlos Newton versus Matt Hughes.
Awesome.
And he had him in a triangle, and he picked him up and he slammed him hard.
I remember that.
Right. That was when I thought, I quite like this kind of crap.
I want to slam some people.
I want to slam some people on the heads.
Yeah. And at that time, I was starting to do a little bit of security work, a little bit of door work. My wife was in the military for 20 odd years of her life. So she was moving around England quite a lot, and I could never get settled in a career or a job where I was in one place more than 2 years. So I decided to get my license in bouncing and door work. So wherever she went, I could move around with it.
Yeah.
And when you do security, I don't know if you guys have done security work or bouncing, but when you do that type of job, you've got to be able to stand on your own 2 feet and fight your own battles, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I used to do that.
I started boxing because I had a really nice, crisp, tasty left hand because I'm a southpaw fighter. And I started to do the boxing, and I went to a gym in Newcastle at the time when I started. It was called the Advanced Fight Center. And the guy that owned it was John Akins, I think his name was. And he was what they call a freestyle fighter. Old school. The gym was just all tatty mats. There was weapons on the walls. It stunk of sweat. It was really like an old, dirty dungeon type gym. But it was a great place to win.
Like my primary school.
And I remember, because I thought I was a tough guy. Most of my life, I thought I was a tough guy. I was always the first to go forward. I never used to step back. Whenever there was any, when I was out with my mates drinking, and if it was fit, I was always the first one to get stuck in, always, without a shadow of a doubt. Until I walked into this gym, and I had to do my first sparring session, and I got hit with a set of 16-ounce gloves on, full ball right down the pipe, bam, and you get the white flash. And then my ego was way up, it just went. And then that was the start. That was the start of rebuilding my ethics on life, my outlook of how I should treat other people, the way I should respect other people for who they are, la la. And I did that for a few years. And one of the guys that was in the gym training, he was doing a form of jiu-jitsu. I didn't realize it was jiu-jitsu. It was more wrestling, grappling. We didn't have gaze on. So he came over and he says, hey, I can see you're keen in boxing and you're doing your training and you try a little bit of this. I was like, nah, I'm not interested in that, mate. I just want to stay on my feet. I want to hit and run.
I want to be a kung fu master.
I want to be Bruce Lee. So anyways, yeah, he threw me around like a rag doll, literally like a rag doll. And back in them days, I don't know, I must have been 115, 120 kgs in weight. So I wasn't small, but he just threw me around like it was nothing. So yeah, I did that for a few years. Worked on the doors for a few years. I had a few scuffles, a few battles in the streets, which were pretty interesting. And I just needed to learn more. I wanted to learn more when it comes to the fact of more self-defense, because anybody can hit anybody. Anybody can punch anybody. Yeah, that's it. And it's a 50-50. Do you know what I mean? It's the first punch that hits the switch and lights out, you know? Yeah. So and this is where we get to New Zealand now. So please bear with me. My wife come home drunk one night from a night out, and she says, what do you think of New Zealand? I was like, well, I don't know. Where the fuck's New Zealand? I don't know.
I'll take it.
And I says to her, I'm pretty sure they've got an average rugby team. That's all I know about them. And I was like, what do you mean, a holiday? And she says, no, we're going to move. I've been offered a job in the military. You know, I've had enough of the UK because it was turning to shit. We weren't happy where we were. We didn't have kids at the time. Didn't have no commitments. Just our house, which we sold. Yeah. Come to New Zealand. And that was when I bumped into Marcelo Lopez.
So hang on. So you come to New Zealand and you were in Blenheim then?
And I was in Blenheim.
Yeah.
It's a random place to move to.
It's a random, I was going to say.
Well, I shit you not, boys. It was like, I was so, because the build up to coming to New Zealand, me and my wife spent 8 months apart, spending time with our families before we moved away.
Yeah.
So I was working on the doors, I was spending time with my family, I was doing my training. And then the big day come, we jumped on the plane. And I never forget this day till the day I die, of flying into Auckland, and it was about 6 o'clock in the morning, and there wasn't a cloud in the sky, and it just looked beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Jumped on the plane from Auckland, followed the line of the ranges and the mountains and the coastline all the way over the Cook Strait towards Blenheim, and I was absolutely mesmerized by the place. Such a beautiful country. So anyways, we moved into our place, and I was hungry. I wanted to train. I wanted to learn, you know, keep my skill sets alive, sort of thing. And that was when I bumped into Marcelo Lopez, as he was in Blenheim. And he was training MMA and doing jiu-jitsu. And he was the first Brazilian I come across who did any form of martial arts. And
wouldn't be many in Blenheim.
Yeah, I trained with him for yeah. And it was actually him that helped me get into the security industry as well, because I used to work on the doors in Blenheim. I used to work down in Kaikoura, covering the festivals down there. Wherever there was any security work needed, we would go and we would do the job. But I was still searching for more jiu-jitsu, more grappling, not as much as kickboxing or the MMA thing.
So how long were you in Blenheim for?
Crikey, for 3.5 years, I believe, Hayden. About that, 3.5 years. Because I got my blue belt with Marcelo, and I remember his brother-in-law came over, Sandro Sampaio, who fought down in what's his name?
Rennes.
We fought on the Rennes satellite card, and Sandro fought Dylan Andrews.
Yeah,
and he smashed him.
Dylan the villain. That was a very quick fight.
That was a quick fight, yeah. So I was with Marcelo. We had 3.5 years with him, and you know, he was the real reason why I stuck up jiu-jitsu. He molded me into the man I am. He gave me the path to follow and the right, you know, it's hard to explain. What he gave me was precious, you know, just his time, his knowledge, his respect,
direction.
And I was absolutely devastated when we left Blenheim because I had to leave him behind. But he was completely understanding, you know, and he told me, you know, you need to go to the same place where Vaughan was, actually, the fight shop. Go to the fight shop and train there. But mind you, I tell you what, it took my licks. Marcelo put me through my paces. He smashed me day in and day out. He was the first guy, he was the actual first guy that gave me the cauliflower ears. You look beautiful, beautiful. And he smashed me with a bronze glove. You look beautiful, lad. But yeah, he's a real cool guy. But at the time, we had a small, like, you'd be lucky if we had 20 mats and 5 guys. There was nothing. We had nothing. But he made it work. Now, if you look at him today,
it's big gym.
He's got that huge in Blenheim now with, is it Sydney Jiu Jitsu? Is that what they're called now? I don't know.
I'm not too sure, but I think he's, well, last I thought he was on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, I think he's been flipping back and forward. I may be wrong.
No, something like that. I'm pretty sure he was teaching over on the Gold Coast and living over there, but coming back, and they've aligned with another organisation and opened them both up.
Is he not teamed up with Bruno Alves?
I don't know exactly who he's with.
He doesn't either.
But yeah, I mean, like, and if you were to see him today, he's done really well for himself. It was always a struggle from day one. Always a struggle. Numbers. And I think at the time when I started, what's it been? 12 years ago, the people didn't understand jiu-jitsu. You know, they don't understand how jiu-jitsu works. You mentioned the word judo. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean?
Ground sprints.
You know, is he trying to, he's looking at me as if to say, what the fuck's he saying?
Nah. I lived in Ireland. I can understand you well.
But yeah, so that was the biggest issue, you know, getting the people to come in, and obviously being, you guys obviously doing jiu-jitsu in an academy is not about all the techniques. It's about running it as a business, if it is your business, you know, overheads, money coming in, money going out. That was the problem he had. But yeah, just getting numbers in the doors, I suppose. And then my wife got posted to Ohio, which is in the ManawaTwo, north of Palm North. And I remember because I think it was just after I fought on Cage Warrior 3, was it? Can't remember. Cage Warrior 3, when I fought the guy and I beat him with an armbar in 46 seconds in the first round. It was like, wow! I beat this guy. And then I said to Marcelo, you know, my wife's been posted away with her job. I don't know what to do. Where do I go? How do I train? And he told me to go and train at the fight shop, which is where I met Vaughan.
Yeah.
Vaughan.
Nice. And then what, you and Vaughan just continued to obviously build a friendship and go on from there, eh?
Yeah. It's funny because his was the first mug I even looked at when I went through the doors. I remember it clearly as day. I walked through the doors, and you know when I don't know what it's like for you guys now, but back in the days when you go from one gym to another, you get the old, "Woo, this is exciting."
Yeah.
Well, that's what it was like. And he was a gorilla then. He was huge. He was a big guy.
He's not small still.
No, he's not. Believe me, he's not small now. No. And I was like, oh fuck, this is going to be hard work. And that was when I first met him, yeah. And ever since that day we've been friends. I think I trained with him for about a year, 2 years. I mean, I'm speculating on times and dates and stuff. I'm pretty crap with that.
I'm not going to check it.
And then he left, and then I was left there by myself. So yeah, I was training under Pinner Simpson originally, Gracie Baja, and then he left for whatever reasons, and then it was Ronnie De Silva.
Yeah.
Yep. And then from then I trained under him for a few years, did the odd competition, low key stuff. Got promoted to purple belt under Ronnie, which was quite surprising. It was an honor. And then Ronnie almost like, I don't know what the reasons were, but we never used to see much of him. And it was a struggle because ever since I got promoted to purple belt, I was expected to do a class or run a class or put the extra time and training in through the coaches at the gym, and I just wasn't happy. I wasn't in a good place, and I had my last fight, who I fought Shannon Dillon from Strikeforce.
Yeah.
And Vaughan had fought him 2 years prior, and it was an even match. You know, it was a good solid scrap. But I've got to acknowledge and take my hat off to likes of Carl Weber and Eugene and Damien Smith and Steve Oliver and all these guys that are coaching gyms that are bringing these guys through, especially back in them days, and the fighters like John Erskine and Gareth Eli and Rod McSwain, and the list is long. It's long. Yeah. But then when I signed up to fight on the execution fight where I fought Shannon, I'd lost 2 opponents prior to Shannon taking the fight on. So there was a lot of chopping and changing strategies, and at the time my wife had just given birth to my daughter, so headspace, I wasn't 110% committed to the cause, and I started to get second thoughts about where I wanted to be within the art, whether I wanted to keep going, whether I wanted to give it up and do something else, whether I wanted to just have a break.
This before the fight? Before the fight,
this was before the fight. It was I felt like I wasn't getting enough attention from the coaches, even though we were committing to the cause. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Makes sense? All right. I'm not naming anybody. I'm not going to do that. I'm the kind of guy. So anyways, I had the fight. I lost to Shannon. Solid opponent. He was serious. He was the better guy on the night. But you've got a 34-year-old guy fighting a guy who's like just peaking in his 20s, who looks like he's young, long on a Gladiator movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say back then he would have been away.
Oh, fuck, And, he's super humble guy. Super humble guy. But that was me, I've got to do this. I've got to reconciliate my meaning of being involved in the sport sort of thing. And it only went one round. I had the best of fight up until the finish where he got me with Matillon off the choke from the back. I remember shooting in on him a few times, getting him down. I got him down on the ground once, started ground and pound, and I stood up. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Stood up, we engaged again. He threw this stupid, crazy high knee at me, which was, everything just slowed down. and I did a backward roll, engaged again. I shot in against the cage wall against him on a double leg, trying to do the quarter turn, get him down, and he hit me right behind the neck, bang, lights out. And then he just got on top and choked. So that was the finish of that. But I remember specifically looking over when in the corner, expecting to see my coach helping me along the way, and he wasn't there. Instead, Vaughan was there, and a couple of other guys that I used to train with prior to them leaving. And I think that just put things in perspective. I think it's time to bow out and take another avenue. So nice. I stepped away from the MMA. But, you know, and again, you know this yourself. It's definitely a young man's game. Definitely is a young man's game.
MMA, yeah. Look, I mean, you've got a certain time bracket that you can get in there and do shit, you know, and then some people like to challenge themselves as they get a wee bit later on, just maybe that one time. I want to get in there one time, but you're fighting, normally these days they match you up with that one time person. Yeah.
And it's like back in them days here, and you'll probably agree with me, the MMA scene was thriving quite well.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Warriors, you had ICNZ, you had Supremacy, and then you had all the big hitters like John Erskine, Gareth Eli Robertson then, and were entertaining to watch. And there was again, I fought twice in the same day, which was again on the one of Ren Sadler's events down in what was that place called? Is it Christian's Coppers Club?
Croydon Coppers. Oh, was it Croydon Coppers? I remember catching up with you at Pioneer one night. I'm pretty sure
another fight night.
That was the one after. It was after the Croydon one. It was the follow-up.
Yeah. But I was training under Marcelo for that first one, and I remember I was training like, I don't know, it might have been 8-9 hours a week, twice a day, and I had my weight on point, and I got down there, weighed in, and I was 90 whatever kgs it was at the time, and the guy who I was fighting was 15 kgs heavier than me.
Shit.
And I looked at Ren. I was like, "What the fuck? He's a monster, a monster." and I remember fighting him, and it was, who was the referee? Scotty Benson was the referee. All head.
Yeah.
Scotty Benson. He was a referee, and I could have shit through the eye of a needle. I was that nervous. Honestly. But anyways, I put the gloves on. I managed to overcome the nerves. Got in there, smashed him around the first round. Second round came and I knocked him out. Knocked him out within it wasn't even a minute in the second round. So I felt pretty good. I was buzzing. And then it might have been about 2 or 3 fights in. Ren came up to me and says, "Listen, some of the boys haven't turned up. I need you to jump in there and fight again." And I was like, "Well, who am I fighting?"
Huh?
and he said, "John Erskine." And I was like, "What the fuck? Who?" And it was John. It was John Erskine. It was the first time I met him, and I'm pretty sure he fought Cam Steer. And did Cam have another fight?
It was, yeah.
He fought 2 fights anyway.
He fought Cam in the final, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Anyways, so I jumped in there with John. I tried to box and kickbox, but he just took me down like an old fat tree. Boom. And he had my back, and he was just leaning into me, and then the armbar came, bam. And this is as true to my word today. I couldn't wipe my arsehole for a week after he armbarred me. I couldn't wipe my arsehole for a week. He got me just bang, perfect. And yeah, man. But I had a very brief stint in the MMA. And
pretty colourful, though.
Oh, man, it's a colourful one. It's a colourful one.
Oh, hey, it is. I mean, it's like I said, it's definitely a young man's game, and I was ready to step aside. I think one of my other MMA fights was on Cage Warrior against a guy, Francis McLaughlin, I think his name was, which was weird, Scottish name.
Fergus?
Francis McLaughlin, his name was. I think it was his debut.
Okay.
But, and here's the twist. I took the fight on less than 12 hours notice. This was Marcelo set me up.
Thanks.
He rang me up. I was bringing a couple of guys down who were on the fight card. I was driving through Kaikoura. He rang me. He says, "Have you got your mouth guard in your bag?" And I was like, "Well, yeah. Why?" "Oh, I'll put your name forward. You're fighting some guy from another gym. You're on the fight card for tomorrow night." I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Mouthful of KFC.
That was it. Yeah, that was it. So anyways, I turned up. I didn't prep for it. the only training I had was I was training. Can you remember a guy called Danny Parr?
Yeah, big guy.
Big Dan.
Monster.
Big Dan, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was training with him, and I remember him. We were sparring. He was inside leg kick, inside leg kick, inside leg kick, like repetitive, and my leg turned purple, and I couldn't put no weight on it, and I kept finding excuses with Marcelo. Listen, my leg's not good. I don't want it. I'm not into this. He says, you're good. I want you to come down, sign your name, and let's get into it. So it's funny. So I got down there. We did the weigh-ins. We had the doctor's check, and I remember meeting him for the first time. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll have him. I'll be easy meet. The fight started. I'm trying to think who the referee was. It was Academy of Combat. What's the head?
Jeff Hayden?
Jeff Hayden.
That's him. Jeff Hayden, right. He was the referee. Because I remember this tall, oldish guy, you know, quite respectful. And one of the things I used to do was, prior to the event starting, I'd go to the middle of the cage and I'd walk backwards and count my steps to the cage wall. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And what happened was when they engaged us in the beginning of the fight, I walked back. No, I span off to my corner and I walked back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the 5th step, I just fired that left hand right down the pipe and I caught him, smack bang on the nose and wobbled him. And then I tried to shoot in under him and he picked me up and suplexed me right over the top of my head. He picked me up like that, boom, smashed me.
Rampage Jackson.
But the problem was when I landed, he landed with his arm completely just inside me. And I wrapped up and I arm locked him, bang, blew the elbow.
Oh.
46 seconds in the first round, I was like, what? 12 hours notice.
Oh, those sweet ones that just pop in for you.
Yeah. And I remember I was on my forehead trying to break this elbow break, and Marcel was shouting, one hand, smash him in the eye, smash him in the face. Like when I was smashing. But I got the tap. I got the job done. It was quite impressive.
Oh, nice.
Probably the highlight of that was my highlight training under Marcelo. And when I took the fight to fight Shannon, like I said, I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel like I put the time in. I felt like I didn't have I didn't get the time from my coaches to help me prep for the fight because at the time Shannon was at his peak. He's no slouch.
Yeah,
you know, he's got some power, speed. He's got the right physique for the.
He's very unpredictable as well. Like I've just rolled with him, and he doesn't do what I expect him to do, and it still works perfectly for him.
Yeah. But he used to have this killer flying knee come from nowhere, and he'd come. So, anyways, and that was it. I just thought, I've had enough of this, and I had commitments at home. I had a new baby at home, so I took a step away from it, and I did a little bit more jiu-jitsu. So, whenever I was training at the gym, I was always there every Saturday morning, rain or shine, Saturday morning. And I'd put the cones out and it'd be open mat for me and whoever turned in and wanted to roll. And that was it for 3 hours of the morning. And I started to go, you know how you hit them plateaus? You have it in most belts. You're like, it sucks. I'm getting my ass handed to me. I'm getting beaten up. I don't feel like I should be here. That's what happened. And I remember touching base with Vaughan. He'd been out. I think he'd been away for about 18 months to 2 years, maybe 3 years. And I said, "Dude, I need to get out of here. I'm not happy. I need to progress. I feel like I'm standing still and I'm in heavy sand. I can't move forward." So he invited me to go enroll it because he was a lecturer at UCall, sports and science lecturer. And I remember rocking up to his place, and for 4 hours we rolled, and he just leg lock, knee bar, toe hold, just killed me.
I didn't come here to get beaten up. I came here for new training.
I took some advice. I wanted a shoulder to fly on, really, but it just made me realize that there's more to jiu-jitsu than just passing guard, cross-side control, far-side armbar, the drills. There's more to it than that, especially at purple belt level. And one of the other things was I was always keen to compete when I was a purple belt. But whenever I suggested to the coach at the time, I want to go and train with other guys in other gyms to get me ready to fight for competitions, I was always told, you go there, don't come back. And I felt a little bit I felt a little bit put out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, and I said to Vaughan, listen, I'm in the wrong place. I want to progress. What do I need to do to start training with you? And he went, just leave. Just leave where you are. Explain the reasons why. Come train with me. And then obviously I went over to, it was Gracie Barhart at the time, which was under Steve Oliver. And that was like, man, that might have been 7 years ago, 6 years ago. And I've never looked back since. Never, ever. He's always been, like, whenever I've struggled at anything, he's always been there to give me advice. He's always been there to give me a push up that hill, you know, the struggle. He's always been there. And in return, my loyalty to him is 110%. I mean, if you look at the two of us side by side, Vaughan's always been the competitive guy. He's always been the leader. But that's what I wanted. That's what I needed. For me to progress further and faster, that's what I needed. I needed a solid foundation to work from to get back on my feet to where I wanted to go. And that, you know, I'm not blowing wind up this guy's arse. I mean this sincerely. He has helped me he's actually helped me get to my black belt level. He really has.
Like a big brother.
Yeah, just like a big brother. I mean, and don't get me wrong, Bryan, when we don't really socialize outside the gym. I mean, I live 50 k's away. So when I go to the gym, I have to travel 100 k's round trip.
Shit.
Especially on a weekend. Yeah, especially on a weekend. I'm fortunate that because I work in town, I'm close to the gym. But if I lived 150 k's away, I'd probably still do the drive. So that's my commitment to him and the guys that's in the gym.
So do you use which I never actually asked one anyway? Is it your guys' gym, or
no.
or you just help out? What's the go?
I still look at myself as a student in the gym. The only difference is my belt's darker than everybody else's in there. Right? But the way I look at it is, and this is a philosophy I got from Laborio and Stevie, as in never forget where you've come from and never forget who got you there. And I say this to the guys in the gym quite regularly. I did it at the weekend. Oh, I got something like that. I'm not crying.
Oh yeah.
For me, and I'm being sincere when I say this, it doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what your religious beliefs are. I don't care what language you speak or anything. When we're on the mats, we're all the same people. We're all human beings. We've all got the same colored blood. The only difference that separates us is the knowledge of the sport and the art. And that's the way I look at it every day. Every time I put that gear on and I wrap that belt around my waist, that's how I treat everybody. And then I have to think of, if it wasn't for the guys that turn up at the gym, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I've always said that from day one, always. And I remember the day that when we had camp last year, and we had Dave Camarello there. So everybody knows who Dave Camarello is. He's an icon of the sport. You know, him and his brother. It was an insane camp. Me and Vaughan were told we've got to get tested, because there's a test for every belt. Whether you compete or not, there's a test. I remember doing my brown belt test, 150 questions in a test. And I was like, what the?
What's my name?
yeah. So anyways, and we were geared up to do the test and that. And it was a hard camp. And at the end of the camp, everybody rolls. You're not obligated to roll, but it's good. You know, everybody, Steve gets to see how everybody's getting on and where we're at. Me and Vaughan are probably the one of two, maybe it's 3 or 4 guys that the oldest. So we're well over our 40. I'm nearly 46, 47. Vaughan's the same age. And there's not many in the team that are that age. So you do get your balls busted, you get your arse handed to you, you take your licks with everybody. And I remember standing in the bar that night after we had our meal, and Dave came up to me and said, dude, you know, how old are you? And I was like, oh, at the time I was 45. He says, you smashed it today. And I can't see any reason why you won't catch that black belt tomorrow. And as you know, I'm super humble. Yeah, thanks very much. You know, you've influenced everybody, la, la, la. Steve came over and said the same thing. And then when we're standing in that lane and he calls your name forward when he's handing out the black belts, it's like, wow. When you turn around and you face everybody against the wall, and I must be 100 people there, and you're seeing them all lined up, the black belts, the brown belts, the purple belts, the blue belts, but the most important people for me, the white belts, because that's where we all start. We all start there in that back lane, and we all work our way forward throughout the years. Just a great, an absolute fantastic experience. It honestly is, and I wouldn't look back. You know, I've got to thank again Vaughan, because if it wasn't for Vaughan, I would never have been with Gracie Baja. I would never have been able to be part of New Zealand top team. I would never have met Steve Oliver. I would never have been able to meet Ricardo Laboria and all the guys he brings from overseas. But as a whole, as an experience, fantastic, you know. And I think everybody should do it. Everybody.
So what's your, when you said you compete, before you wanted to compete as a purple belt, how many like jiu-jitsu competitions have you got yourself into? I know you had a lot of MMA ones, but how many jiu-jitsu comps?
I didn't do many. A lot of them were most local. I think I did a couple of NZ grapplers in the early days, Carpety and whatnot. And when they came to Palmy a few times, I did a couple of sub-onlys.
As a purple or before purple?
As purple. Yeah.
And
I did one in Napier, which was sports jiu-jitsu, which was quite fun. That was good. That was a good one, because you were allowed to, you did your grappling, and then they switched over and you were allowed to strike. But I didn't do the striking. I did the grappling one. That was interesting, because I ended up doing round robin, and I must have had about 7 fights in the same day. And I lost to 2 young guys, actually. They went into the final. But as far as jiu-jitsu competition, I wasn't really in that higher bracket, if you know what I mean, like Vaughan was. Vaughan's proud of his medals. He's got them all laced up on the gym wall, which he should be, because he's earned them fair and square. He really has.
Have you thought about competing a bit more in the Masters?
It's not really come across my mind, to be fair, no. And I've had a lot of injuries, Hayden. Like I've got injury to my back. I've got my L4, my L2, no, my L3, L4 are all bulging, so I've got to have that fixed. I've got an appointment in a few weeks to get that done. I blew my LCL a few years ago, which hindered me.
Don't say all your injuries, because if you do compete, everyone's going to know where to target you.
And then my fingers, that I have the same problems as Vaughan. Hold on too much.
What's in the water in ManawaTwo? You guys broke your hands.
Your hands are just as bad. Look, I'm the one with the pretty ones still. You used to, and Vaughan are terrible, man.
Vaughan has a way worse survive.
And I tell you what it is. Refereeing as well. I think Vaughan referees quite. We haven't refereed much this year, last year, but the year before we used to referee quite frequently. Which I quite enjoyed, and I might look more at going down that route of getting a certification in the refereeing. I think Paolo Soroso does the course.
Yeah.
So it keeps me engaged on the mats.
Yeah, Bryan does the same thing. Bryan's reffed at you reffed at the Pampax and as well, didn't you?
No, I didn't referee. I did the referee course, but then I was only a blue belt. You had to be a purple belt at least.
Yeah.
But then New Zealand was good, because I refereed in New Zealand and everyone knows who I am. But then when I went to Ireland, I refereed in Dublin, and I did one comp, and they were like, I made a call, and the guy was like, "Oh fuck, you don't even do jiu-jitsu. How old are you?" I was like, "I'm fucking 38 and I'm a black belt. Just calm down."
Yeah, don't get me wrong, it's hard, but I've never come across any. I've never come across any negativity within the athletes or the trainers. In fact, my best experience, I'll give you 2 scenarios, my best experience and my worst experience. My best experience of refereeing was when I refereed JJ Wilson's match as a white belt he was. And I shit you not, I brought them together. I gave them the old, this is the way the land lies. When I see a break, I want you to break. He hooked up and he hit this guy with a flying armbar. Like, bam, finished, out of here. And I was like, well, he made my job easy.
Time.
And that was the first time I ever met JJ. And I mean, everybody in New Zealand should know in combat sports knows that JJ is a Bellator fighter now. So he's one of
very quick.
Yeah,
he's one of
he's very
Steve
on point.
Oliver's prodigies. Yeah, real cool guy. But that was my best moment of being a referee. My worst moment of being a referee was witnessing a young child's shattering his arm from a takedown.
Yeah.
So it was pretty horrific. But as a referee, you've got to be able to overcome that type of thing and keep focused on the game in hand, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's quite hard though with kids, and I always find this because when I teach them takedowns and that kind of stuff, their first natural reaction is to stick their arm down to try and stop them instead of break full. So
or arch their backs.
So we work heaps on don't stick your arm down, break full. If you're going to drop, I'd rather do it, because one of my boys, we had a grading one time, and he put his arm down and popped his elbow out, and then it was not good. We had to, like, obviously we didn't touch it, but we got him secured and then took him away, but he ended up chipping his bone and all because he stuck his arm down instead of break full.
I think kids are quite resilient in general. If you've got kids yourself, especially if you've got young ones like I have, they do.
Mine are all old now, mate.
Mine's 10-year-old, and she's got no aspirations to doing jiu-jitsu or anything like that. She's into horses like her mum, and that's it, which is good, because then I don't have to worry about her.
But, girls picked up really good. My daughter's she picked up really fast.
Really, I've dragged her arse into the gym time and time again. Not interested. Not interested.
Yeah, neither was mine, but what she has watched, she can actually emulate straight away. I was really impressed.
That's cool. That is cool. But yeah, they're quite resilient. They do bounce back quite well. They heal quite well. Not like those little guys.
I'm still sore from a couple of years ago.
I think on this, mate, I think we need to start an over 40s club in New Zealand. We'll just we'll put a page up and see how many we can get. It's probably shitloads of them.
We'll just all meet at the hospital once a month.
Yeah. Which one do you go to? So we talked a wee bit about where you come from and all that kind of stuff. And so what's your goals for yourself now going forward? You got your black belt last year, did you say?
Yes, me and Vaughan got our belts on the same day.
Yeah.
Aspirations are moving forward. What would I really do? I want to teach quality jiu-jitsu. I really want to be able to give from a coaching side of it and from the gym side of it. I want to come up with a good product. Do you know what I mean? It's like the way I look at it now is, and I mean, touching from back before about where I am in the gym. I'm still a student in the gym, but I'm always there. If Vaughan can't make it, can you jump into a class, or can you do this, or nothing's pre-planned with me. I've just got to. I turn up, put my gear on, take a deep breath, appreciate the fact I'm putting this belt on, and think, right, what's on the order today? And then I'll stand to see who's there, and I have to plan the class around the person that doesn't know the most. So I don't need to be too hard, too technical, but this guy here that's only been training 3 or 4 weeks, he has to be able to understand the movements, the way we have to apply the body, the way hand position this. Because our classes aren't split into beginners, intermediates, and advanced, because we don't have that kind of number. We've got a good number of guys for the size of the gym. So
same as us. We're the same. We just have one class.
Everybody,
I find personally, I mean, I know numbers wise is the thing that limits a lot of people, but the progression of my students, having 3 or 5 black belts on the mat at once, going from and brown belts and that kind of stuff. Man, they just I think they learn way faster, eh? Just getting that knowledge from everyone.
Here, and I'll tell you something honestly here. As true as I'm sitting in this seat, we've got Seth Tavadale training with us at the minute, right?
Yeah. And
he's like a breath of fresh air. This guy is a breath of fresh air. One, because he kicks your ass properly, but and here I've got to ask this: what the fuck's this worm god? What is this worm god?
I like worm god.
What is the fascination? What is it?
Oh, I love lapels, man. Don't get me wrong. I love using my lapels and controlling people with my lapels. I love getting out of worm guard, but I don't like using it. But
You need to
like
tell
it.
me how to do this. You need to tell me how to do this.
Jump on Keenan. Keenan will tell you. It's his guard, man.
Just
Because honestly, I remember
DM him.
the first time I met Seth, it was a no-gi class, and it was in our old building. And Tony Kim, who again used to train at Axis, he come to train with us about a year and a half, maybe it's a bit longer, prior to Seth coming to see us. And he said he's from Axis, and I was like, "Fuck, he can't. These guys from Axis are killers. You can't fuck about them."
Yeah.
You know that's so technically advanced, and I'm being honest here. They're so technically advanced. There's no joke.
Yeah.
But when Seth turned up, we were in no gi season, so he didn't have his gi to play around with. So we had a good hard roll. It was pretty back and forth, you know. It was he was onto it, and then he went to train at another gym, probably just to suit his lifestyle or his working commitments, whatever. And then I'd heard he was wanting to come back and train with us full time at the new place, and I said to Vaughan, "Dude, whatever it takes, get him in, because he'll evolve everybody's game just with this lapel guard, just with the use of the gi." So we got him in, and like I say, it was a breath of fresh air. It just, from my point of view, the jiu-jitsu has evolved so fast. The difference in techniques, the names of the techniques, the involvement of all the different types of guards. You know, when I was training jiu-jitsu 10, 12, 13 years ago, you had a guard pass, you had top cross side control, the knee raid, far side arm bar. You know what I mean? Had the basic package. But now it's gone from there to De La Hiva, inverted, reversed, crab right. It's just a
Minari rolls and
yeah, it's just crazy.
We'll call them
But
toasters or whatever. See, I'm shocking with names, man. I fucking, it's like, they go, "Oh, can you do this?" And I'm like, "What's that?" And you do this. "Oh, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, that's sweet. That's no worries. I'll show you. I'll show you 4 different variations."
But
like, tell me, call a name to me though. I'm very shocking.
Yeah, mate, I'm the same, mate. But like I said, when Seth turned up, he was in his game. I was like, shit, now I need to worry. Prior to Seth joining us in the new gym, we had, I don't know if Vaughan told us, but we had Cam Steer came to do a little sneaky seminar.
Yeah.
And he showed us the lapel guard and how to control it in the you know, posture, passing, you know, this kind of crap, which was pretty cool. When Seth came in to train us full time, I knew what we were expecting, but it just feeling it for the first time and sparring with it, using it for the first time was like, I was like dead in the water, completely dead in the water. Posture was up and down, my body was in and out, my legs were balance was just off. But I'm impressed with it. I am what's the word I'm looking for? Intrigued with it, and I'm trying to get Seth to, you know, give us a little bit more, help us, you know, teach us. So yeah, I mean, like I say, he's a breath of fresh air. He's with the team full time now, and he's a good asset. And I just can't wait to get stuck into this God scenario with him. And
yeah, but
and then hopefully the comps will be back in soon too.
And what you said as well, like how you go in when you take a class and you just run it off the cuff and just go with it as you go, and then bringing Seth in. Now Seth will be another way of coaching and learning, because I'm the opposite. Hayden's the same. Hayden will look at something. I'm just going to just tell them how you teach now. Hayden watches it all, knows what he's going to do, and then walks in, and then he's like, "Fuck, I've got this move I'm going to do. Bryan, come here." I'm like, "Oh, here we go." And he'll do it. Like, "Oh yeah, that's the truck." And he's like, "Whatever, that's what I'm doing." And it's but I plan mine out well in advance. So I plan from the warm up right through to the end, so it all flows together, because that's how I have to coach. So it's nice to have different styles and but it works. Everyone likes, they resonate.
I think that's the thing. Like, to me and Vaughan, you could use the classic term of yin and yang.
Yeah.
He always supports the class that I do, and I always support the class that he does. Now Seth's on board. I can teach a little bit of my stuff. Vaughan might jump in there and teach a technique, and then I'll say, "Seth, do you want to put some of yours in there? Can you put your magic on it?" And he'll say, "Yeah, man." He did this sequence the other day just with I think you guys call it the Bravo, the gi. Bring the gi over the back with Bravo control, and we're working from there, triangles and whatnot. It was like, wow.
That's my whole game.
Yeah. It's a dangerous game. I kid you not, it's a dangerous game. So yeah, we're quite compatible. We've never had any issues where it's like, I've never once sat there and thought, oh, that's not right. That's just wrong. It's not right. Because jiu-jitsu is never wrong.
Yeah, there's no wrong answers.
There's no wrong or right way. And this is one of the things we do say to the guys in the gym. We give you the tools. We give you the tools, the toolbox to work with. It's down to you how you use them. You find the right way. You adjust it to suit your style or your body mass or your height or your weight or your speed or your age. You know, it's you make it work for yourself. So yeah, it's just, man, it's a crazy sport, absolute crazy sport. I mean, I'll be honest, I have a love-hate relationship with it. I don't know if you guys, I really do. Like at the minute, I'm frustrated because I've got a back problem, but I rolled on Saturday morning with the young fellas and I felt amazing. Now I have to get in the car.
You told me you felt terrible. You sent me a message and said,
But I tell you, this is the thing, though. I can roll hard on if I see I go to the gym on Tuesday and I have a roll. By the time I get out the car from end of training, I can't move. It's that bad. I'm like, fuck. I had a good roll, but I can't move.
yeah. But it's a funny sport. Like even when you lose like that, it's like I got the shit kicked out of me, but I had such a good time. I mean, I got the 3 goals I wanted to hit, and boom, therefore I won.
I'm the same, mate. I'm the same though. My body's a bit headed now. I'm a wee bit like yourself. From my L1 to my L5, I'm pretty done. Like the worst thing for me is coming. Like you say, I come home, like, I had a good roll, and I sit down and I watch a wee bit of TV, and then I like just laughs at me while she kicks me up the ass to try and get me out of the couch. Yeah. It's like
lucky. I come home, my wife will point at me and she say, "I'm not interested." I am not interested. So, and it's funny because I remember years ago, she came off her horse, and I looked and I went, "I'm not interested."
And now you live on the couch.
Yeah, see this thing I'm sitting on is still my bed.
Yeah, it's like I say,
That's a dangerous game.
Yeah, I love-hate relationship. I love it because it helps me get through everyday life. I decompress from work.
Yeah,
I get to spend time with the boys and the girls if they turn up on the nights. But the hate relationship is the injuries, the time away from home, if and when it happens. It hasn't been as bad this year and the end of last year. Obviously, it's had a massive impact on what's going on. But I am missing my camps. I go to camp twice a year. I go to camp to Auckland for 3 or 4 days. I have missed that.
Fly down to Christchurch, bro. You have a camp with us.
Do you know what? Since we've done the podcast, it's going to be something that's going to be talked about this week with Vaughan.
What do you do for a job?
So I work in the building sector. I'm a qualified joiner. So the business I'm working for at the minute is just we do windows and doors and sunrooms and conservatories and stuff like that. So it's quite a physical job. It's quite committing, a few hours of the day. Some days I might have to work late, so it means I sacrifice time at the gym. Good job, I enjoy it. The boss is I've actually got my main boss doing kickboxing classes in the same gym I train in.
Yeah,
so it has
nice. It's always that little plea. Oh, you should train. I have a really good place for you to train. Hey, boss, how you doing? We got to go to training.
We have to leave early for work to go to training, you know?
Yeah, go to training, yeah.
Oh, nice. Hey, look, I may have to wrap it up there for a wee bit, bud. Look, it's been really awesome talking to you. We have 5 questions.
It's your turn.
It's my turn to answer those 5 questions.
No pressure. Mine were really good.
Mine are shit, bro. So,
because you don't plan it.
I don't write anything down. I just hang on. What are we going to say today? So yeah, we got 5 questions, mate. We just want to hit it out there, and just see. Are you an open guard or closed guard?
I'm comfortable either way, but I prefer closed guard and then change to the open.
Ah, nice.
Diplomatic, very PC.
Yeah, very PC. I like that. We just want direct. Who's your favourite rugby team? Who's watching this at home, mate?
I'm going to go for the ManawaTwo Turbos because at the minute they're training.
That's a goodie. That's a classic. Yeah. Favourite. I'm going to do Bryan's one here. Favourite street fighter character.
Is it Sub-Zero? Sub-Zero.
Oh, this Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat, that one. Street Fighter.
Street Fighter. I'm not one of them kind of guys, man.
You're like me, mate. I wouldn't have a freaking clue. I know this.
Why'd you ask it?
I don't know because you know. I don't know.
Bruce Lee.
He's an extra character in some game. Anyway.
Anyway.
Fail.
Yeah, fail. Oh, well, we'll go into that one. What is your favourite martial art movie?
Oh, I'm gonna go Game of Death.
Oh, good movie. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah. Best fight scene ever.
Okay, this is our most classic, and I don't have to worry about this this question. I already know what it is. Do you wash your belt?
I haven't. I wash my purple belt religiously, but my black belt I spray with Dettol, same as Vono.
Oh,
but I've got 3 black belts. I have 3.
So you keep changing them?
I do. I rotate them. I have the one that Steve gave me on the day. I have a belt that my wife and daughter got embroidered with my date on. And I've also got a belt that I like to, and they go from an A2 all the way to an A3. So it depends on how heavy I am.
Christmas belt.
Yeah, start of the year, end of the year. Woo!
I've got 2.
Christmas comes back to the start.
I only have 2 belts. I have the one I always use and one just in case I forget that belt.
Yeah.
I only have 1.
Yeah.
I've still only got the 1 belt.
Well, I only got 2 because I left my belt in Ireland when I came back to New Zealand. I was like, what the
Oh, you mean
fuck?
the one I gave you? Oh,
Yeah.
Good on you, mate.
Well,
Yeah.
that's my one for that's my war belt.
Hey, where's the fucking love? Hey, look, man. Yeah, bro, we want to thank you very, very much for coming on. Really appreciate it. It's been nice catching up with you again.
Yes.
It's definitely been a long time, and we're trying to trying to get around a wee bit. So thank you very much.
When did I see you the last time? Oh, Taxis, eh? That was the last time I seen you.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah. So that was a wee while ago.
You fought Black Four, eh? A good scrap then.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a really good one. It's probably one of my favourite fights. Broke my rib in about fucking 6 minutes, I think. Ugh, it's terrible.
It's the scaredest I've been as a coach, I think, on that one.
Wasn't going to give up, but I fucking hurt like hell. But hey, look, thank you very much. Hey, again, where are you guys training at the moment? So people can see. Yep, where? What's your address?
Craig, is it 106 Princess Street in Palmerston North?
We're asking you.
I'm pretty sure it is. But if anybody is interested, jump on to Facebook, look up Vaughan Antonio or Manawatu BJJ. All the details are there, times, classes. If you have any queries or any doubts, give them a ring. The biggest and the hardest thing in Jiu Jitsu, my opinion, is turning up for the first class. Once you've done that, everything's piece of piss.
You always
piss after that.
Always come along with someone you know you can beat up, and that way you feel good about yourself when you leave.
Yeah. And then bring them in. Keep bringing them in.
So, guys out there, please share, like this. If you don't like us, that's fine. If you think we're boring, that's even better. But just share it, okay? Because there's lots of people out there that love jiu-jitsu within New Zealand, and we're trying to get around to the community in New Zealand. And it might just be 1 or 2 people. Subscribe to the page so you can get all the notifications when the next one comes up. And Al, cheers, mate. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it, guys. Keep up the good work.
Hey, brother.
Thanks, man.
Sweet as, man.
Bye-bye.
Okay, I gotta go. I gotta take my daughter home.
See you, boys.
See you guys.
See you, mate.
Leave the meeting.